Welcome to Benjamin's Dream and the Dreamers Podcast. Hey everyone, this is podcast number 8, week 5 in fantasy football. This week we're going to call Gabby first. So let's give Gabby a call.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
So you play Jeremy Giles this week. He's one of our friends. Hey, who did you try to pick up this week off waivers?
Vance McDonald, I needed a tight end.
Right.
And I think I got Cooper Kupp as well.
Last year everyone talked about picking up Cooper Kupp in fantasy. You heard it all the time, and he was really inconsistent. But this year he's averaging like 15 plus points. So I think that's probably a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a good pickup for you. And the Vance McDonald thing, I think since I'm a Steeler fan, he's clearly becoming the number one tight end, and they're using him more. So I think that might be good for you also.
Yeah, because I had the Giants tight end, and he's injured. I think it's some sort of a knee thing. Don't quote me on that. But he's been out for it could be week 2 that he's out. And I didn't know who to pick up last week, and I know one of the Eagles, not first, but this rookie, he did really good. Wentz's first week back, so and he was targeted a lot. I think he got at least one touchdown. So I was thinking, since the wide receivers weren't doing so well on the Eagles, maybe they'd go tight end a little bit more, but that did not pan out super well.
So I was driving home from Michigan. Was the Eagles game, Eagles versus Tennessee, was it on TV in this area?
No.
Okay, I was going to ask you, because I watched for 6 hours. My girlfriend probably hated me. I listened to this fantasy update on the whole way back. And it would say, it said the Eagles and Titans win the overtime. And I was like, well, it's no big deal. The Eagles are going to win, blah, 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 blah. And then did the Eagles, so there was 2 fourth down, I think there was 2 fourth down tries. It might have been by Tennessee. Did the Eagles go down and kick a field goal?
They did, yeah.
Okay, so
they kicked the field goal, and then I think the Titans got it back, and they went fourth down twice, I think, and then looked like they weren't going to get into. They would at least tie it, probably. Or I think the one, it wasn't even within field goal range. So if they held them there, the game would have been over.
Right.
Then I was like, all right, well, they'll just go for the field goal, and they didn't. I think they went fourth down, went for it, and then wound up getting a touchdown. I was watching my updates on just the play-by-play, which I hate doing that, but it seemed like it was a good game. And in this area, it said it was supposed to be on Fox, and I turned on Fox, and they were showing a dog show.
Well, that's weird. I don't understand how it has priority over the NFL, but whatever.
I was like, why are we watching this right now? It says there's football on, and it's dogs catching frisbees, which is cool and all, but
no, I gotcha.
If you say you're going to play football and you have multiple games to pick from, please show a game of football. And then they went into the post-game show, and I was just like, you didn't show football. Why are you showing a post-game show?
That is very weird. I guess I just want...
You're playing reruns of TV shows. I was really upset that there was nothing on Fox.
No, I gotcha. Have you thought about starting Julian Edelman tonight at all?
What was that?
Have you thought about starting Julian Edelman tonight at all? I
thought about it. I wasn't. I know because he's been out. He was out all last season for an ACL thing, and then he's been suspended. So I think I'm gonna give it a week to see how he does.
Right.
Maybe, and then maybe put him in. I guess it depends on. I don't think I've seen any Patriots games. I haven't really watched a ton of them.
Right.
So I'm not sure how.
So I played Jason this week, and he has Tom Brady and Sony Michael, and okay. I'm nervous about that. No, not so much about the running back, but about Tom Brady, because he's just going to destroy. I feel like he's going to destroy the Colts, but I could be wrong. Maybe we'll have a weird game.
I feel like if I knew I was going to go Brady for a quarterback, I would try and grab Gronk and Brady.
Right, yeah.
I just feel like that's a really bad matchup for whoever you're playing.
I gotcha. Have you thought about starting Kenyon Johnson? Because the Packers are giving up a lot of rushing yards.
No, I didn't.
Well, I mean,
don't
you
know
still
why.
have till Sunday, but I just didn't. Both your starters. I'm not sure about the guy from San Francisco, but I mean, Ajayi's solid. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're only starting 2 running backs, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I put in Cooper Cup as my flex right now.
Which I think is good. I mean, I don't really. Has LaShawn McCoy done anything for you the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Not really.
He was hurt for 1 game, right? At least.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, have you thought about? Man, you have a lot of good bench players. I mean, your lineup is one of those ones. It's like all your players could go off, but sometimes when you play them, they don't go off. If that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
Bilal Powell, I mean, he's going to get a lot of reception. A lot of receiving and rushing yards. I feel, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Hmm.
I think also another good pickup you had is Mason Crosby, because like if you go to the stats and then I can't remember exactly, but you go to scoring, and then you just click
Hmm.
on the average column. He was ranked like the number 1 kicker overall, but yet no one had him because
Hmm.
I don't know why, but no one had him. So I wanted to get him eventually because I had Greg. His name is Greg from Los Angeles Rams. It's gonna drive me nuts. I can't think of his last name, but he got hurt, so I picked up.
Does it start with a Z?
Yeah, I just don't want to pronounce it
I
wrong.
don't know how to say that.
Oh, Dan Bailey. How did I not think of that? But so he's the first week. I think the first game I started him, he got me 0 points. But I won that week. I think it might have been the week I played you.
Probably.
I think it was because it was the week I played you. But Juju should have a big game for you. I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't see the second half of the game. That was Monday, right?
Mm-hmm. No, excuse me,
didn't-
Sunday night.
Sunday night. I didn't watch the second half, but I heard about it, and I don't know what happened to their offense.
Me either. So people are putting a lot of, I don't want to say the blame, but they're giving Le'Veon Bell a lot of credit. When he's there, it opens up a lot because people will stack the box to try to stop the run, and a lot of our receivers get one-on-one coverage, which is awesome for us. And since we have absolutely no running game at the moment, we did week 1, but there was too many turnovers. But we have no running game at the moment, and we're just one-dimensional. So we either score a bunch of points, or you absolutely know what we're going to do, and you stop us.
Yeah, I feel like in the first half, I know that they were saying that they were like the defense was really on Antonio Brown, which in sometimes for me it lucks out because then
Juju's,
Juju.
yeah, mm-hmm.
So I feel like having that has worked out pretty well for me, not to not have Bell, and then they're just automatically really making sure they cover Antonio Brown. So,
Right.
I can understand that would, yeah, definitely for the Steelers as a whole as a team, that's really kind of shutting down their options.
It's just frustrating because I get so unlike 2005 and 2008 and even 2010, we don't have a lot of big name. We have very, very, very good players on the defensive line, and we had Ryan Shazier, and he obviously got hurt. But we don't have a lot of big names, and not necessarily you have to have a big name to be good. But usually,
Right.
if your name's more popular, that means you're making more plays. People, coming up in big moments, and we're giving up a lot of easy plays, and not necessarily they might be difficult for the other team to execute, but it's like the people are wide open. All they have to do is catch the ball half the time, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in, or even though I called you. So thanks for picking up, and then around the same time next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now we'll call Alex up and see what he has to say.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. How are you?
Pretty good. Watching the Penguins.
I got you. So real quick, how are the Pens playing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy, man. I don't think Matt Murray's playing too well. He gave up a couple bad goals there. It's 3-2 right now, Capitals. So, I mean, I don't know. We were able to score on a couple, which was good, but,
No, I got you.
still, I don't know, goaltending and defense looks pretty bad again. So.
No, I got you. So I traded you Jordan Reed last week, so I'm assuming you're going to put him in as tight end rather than have the other guy out on a bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just haven't done it yet.
That's not a big deal.
I'll do that right now, actually, since I'm on here.
Who are you going to put as your flex?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'll have to think about it a little bit here. I'm gonna see who I can get, who I can pick up too. So
No, I got you. So you have about 20 minutes.
Drew's walking in the room here.
All right.
He said, "Yo,
So you have 20 minutes before you can start Josh Gordon. You could put him as flex, or you could put him as a receiver and then put AJ Green as a flex or something. Because do you really want to start James Washington against Atlanta?
I mean, it's hard. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
Makes sense. How do you feel the Jaguars will do this week versus Kansas City?
I don't know, man. I didn't really pay attention to it too much there.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because Kansas City the first 3 weeks. I think the last game versus the Broncos, they didn't necessarily play like out of this world offensively, but they just been putting up points, and Mahomes has been playing like crazy. But I think obviously he's been playing against NFL defenses, but I think Jacksonville's is obviously the best for like the next 3 years at least until something has changed. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, they got a lot of good players on it. So I just picked them. I knew they were going to be a good.
Right. Yeah.
They stopped the Steelers, so.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah,
we were at that game the first time we played them. It wasn't even remotely close.
Oh yeah, it was awful. That's when Ben threw all those interceptions.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What do you think about the Steelers? What do you think they're going to do?
I honestly have no idea because
It should be Atlanta. I mean,
I don't. Can we stop Atlanta? Can we score more than 14 points? I mean, I know Atlanta's defense is not the Ravens' defense.
Yeah.
But I feel like Atlanta's going to come in, put up a bunch of points. Or no, it's at Atlanta. No. It's in Pittsburgh. My fault.
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you think we can? I mean, do you honestly feel we can beat Atlanta?
I think we can. Yeah, they're not very good.
I think they might not have a winning record, but like they put up a bunch of points versus the Saints, and then I think last week them and the Bengals were in a shootout, and I just feel like what I'm trying to say is so Le'Veon Bell, obviously when he was on the team, people would stack the box, try to stop the run, so that puts our very athletic receivers in one-on-one coverage a lot and opens up a lot of the field. But ever since the Kansas City game, we have no running game. Like the Browns, we had an attempted running game, which was actually very good, over 100 yards, I think Connor had. But then versus the Chiefs the next week, he only had like 13 yards. He only had like a handful of attempts, and Ben threw it for 60 times, over 60 times. And then versus Tampa Bay, we went up, 30-10 in the first half, but then we scored 0 points in the second half, and Tampa Bay scored 17. And then in the Ravens game, once again, we had a 0-point second half, and I just don't. They're very inconsistent. Obviously the team means a lot to me, and I want them to win. I think we just have to wait and see what they can do until Bell comes back, if he actually does come back.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You're just kind of waiting until he comes back. Pretty much what we're doing.
Right. And so far it's not looking good.
No.
This is going to sound a bit under the radar. I've been reading, and I watched him in the preseason game. He's very athletic in the preseason games, and he's very athletic. I unfortunately can't think of his first name, but his name is Thomas, is his last name. He's a linebacker from Florida State. He was undrafted, but he can run like a 4.4 40, and he's our gunner on the punt. And like he'll just blow past like the DBs or the receivers, which is awesome. But I don't know if he can translate that if he gets to any middle linebacker snaps. Because supposedly he's getting them in practice, but he's not getting them in the game, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
So we've got to see if that could maybe translate to something positive. But, I mean, I don't know. I saw there's this Pittsburgh reporter. He seems like a pretty well, that's not the point. I should know his name. But he said Bud Dupree was on pace for, like, a career-high 12 sacks. And, like, could have fooled me. I mean, I know 12's not a lot compared to like what people get nowadays, but like I don't know.
Huh. Well, I don't know, but he played all right. I don't know. I don't think he played very well against the Ravens, but against
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah.
Yeah, he had that like pick six, but like I think it was a tip ball. I don't think it necessarily was like he cut in front of receiver type thing. Yeah. But I mean, he was there to make the play, so you can't really discredit him for that. I just don't know if it was like, dominant play, if that makes sense. Right place, right time.
Exactly, yeah.
I got you.
Who am I playing this week?
You're playing DJ.
That's DJ, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. My team's not very good. We're 1-3 right now.
You guys are both on a 3-loss streak. So, I mean, anything goes, maybe.
Yeah, true. You never know. See what happens here.
No, I got you. Did you
How's
try
your
to...
team doing?
I'm 500, which I guess isn't it just so if I could go like 2-1 the next 3 weeks, it would be awesome because then then Bell would come back after the bye, which would be week 8, and I would be able to put him in the game and hopefully get like somewhat like a top 5 pick, points projected. What am I trying to say there? So like obviously his value prior to him, everyone thought he was coming back. His value was projected #1 player overall, and I traded you guys three players for 2 players back for him, and then I lost, which is not a huge deal, but the 2 people in front of me are both 3-1. So like I play my boss this week who is 3-1. So I have to beat him hopefully, and then the next 3 weeks I need to either go 3-0 or 2-1 because it's going to be kind of pointless if I made the trade because it maybe could have come back to bite me in the end.
Yeah, maybe. Bell will be all right, though. He'll, like you said, I mean, once he comes back, he'll be all right.
No, I got you. So we have about a few more minutes left. Say something quick about the Mountaineers this week. I think it should be an easy W. I don't want to say easy, but
I mean, like you said, Kansas is much improved, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely, it's definitely going to be a blowout. I think. I can't believe how good we looked in the first quarter against
Kansas State.
Texas.
Oh, excuse me, Texas Tech. My fault.
So I mean, we played really well. We looked like we were, unstoppable there. But then we just kind of slowed down and played not to lose, type deal.
Yeah.
I think this will be an easy win for them. Should be a good weekend here in Morgantown. It's Gold Rush, homecoming. So I think for sure it'll be an easy win for them.
I got you.
Move to 5-0. So
there we go.
That'll be pretty exciting.
We need Alabama to go undefeated. We need Notre Dame to lose. We need some of that.
At that. I don't know who Notre Dame plays, but
they play a decent schedule. I don't know how good those teams are like this year. Like I'm pretty sure they easily beat Stanford, but I could be wrong. They easily beat Michigan, which talent-wise they should be better than they are. And I think I don't know if they played USC already, because I think USC has played a bunch of out-of-conference games. But, I mean, they look okay, but I don't think them being undefeated or, looking very, very good doesn't help our case if we do go undefeated, because I feel like, the ACC, there's no way the ACC is getting in the playoff.
No. Yeah.
They have no one this year.
Yeah, there's no way.
But hopefully, I think I've said this the past few weeks. Something feels different about this West Virginia team. I'm not saying we're the greatest thing ever, but they feel like these guys go out to intentionally win games, not just to play down to whoever they play that week. You know what I mean? Or have to play up to their competition to do good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean this year has a different feel to it.
Mm-hmm. They feel like
we said the same thing against the year 2011 or 2012, whatever it was.
Gino, Tavon, Stedman.
Yeah, I mean, whenever that year we were like, oh man, this is we're gonna do it this year. And
right.
It fell apart. So hopefully that doesn't happen with us. I mean, this Kansas game is kind of a trap game for us. It's kind of right in the middle. We got these 3 games coming up are real. They should be pretty easy for us. But if we think who we think we are, they should be easy for us.
No, I got you.
But I mean, it's hard to tell what'll happen. So.
No, I got you.
But I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. We're going to it this weekend, so
that should be good. Is it supposed to rain?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, supposed to be a nice day, so that'll be pretty fun.
Okay, so I'll call you around the same time next week, and thanks for picking up, and thanks for giving your opinion on stuff. I really appreciate it.
All right, no problem, man. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So now we're calling Chase. So I should have said that earlier, but oh well.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. What's up?
Oh, not too much. Okay, real quick. How'd you do last week?
I lost pretty bad.
So did some of your players underperform or did you? I mean, what really happened? Did anyone get hurt in your lineup?
I didn't catch that last bit. What?
So did you start anyone and they got hurt mid game?
No, nobody got hurt from me. Just nobody really performed that well, I guess. I mean, Watson has kind of been outperforming Rodgers at this point, it seems like. So maybe I should be starting him instead. And Freeman will be back this week for me, so that should hopefully be all right.
Yeah, that should. Do you have any other running backs? Because hasn't Derrick Henry been kind of underperforming, or has he been doing average?
Henry's been doing all right.
He's been doing all right.
And then I didn't start Alshon Jeffrey. I should have done that because he finally came in last week. He had 1 or 2 touchdowns,
yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. but he still would have beat me pretty handedly. He had, I want to say Kamara, and he had a huge game for the Saints.
Right.
I think he had 3 touchdowns or something.
Actually, I think you
I
played
don't
my
know how many
boss last
yards.
week, didn't you? No. My fault. I apologize. You played Giles.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I forget.
No, that's no big deal. How's Giovanni Bernard been playing for you?
He's been doing really well since Nixon's been out. Is Nixon still out, or?
Well, he's supposed to play this week, so I'm pretty, jacked about that. I'm looking forward to that, but I don't know if the last minute they'll just say they just want to rest him one more week or something.
Yeah, Bernard was giving me a lot of points.
Yeah, I remember. So I played your brother last week, and he scored 150 points. But
Wow.
yeah, I was listening to the Bengals and Atlanta game on the radio, and they kept giving the ball to Bernard, and he kept rushing touchdowns. I'm like, no, stop. And because I feel like when Joe Nixon comes back, they'll not do that for some reason. They'll just not give him the ball.
I hope that's not the case, but
Yeah, I got you. What's your opinion on the Steelers this far this season?
it's going to be a long season, I think. I'm afraid.
If somehow we could just stay afloat or stay 1 or 2 games behind Baltimore and Cincinnati until Bell comes back, if he does come back, which I think he thinks, I believe the reports because the people work very hard to get their sources, so I believe the reports he is coming back during the bye week.
But it took him 3 games to get into game shape last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So I agree with you on that because I don't know. Maybe I guess we just have to wait and see. But I don't see us stopping anyone. I feel like Atlanta's going to put up at least 30 points, but I could be wrong.
The defense is going to be atrocious. But the defense they gave up 4 field goals in the second half. The offense didn't do anything in the second half last week. So.
Do you know the last
I
2
don't know.
games we've scored 0 points in the second half?
That's right. Yeah.
Versus Tampa,
20
we
point
scored
lead against Tampa.
Yeah, and they scored 17. We scored 0. And then versus the Ravens, we had 14 points, and then they got all the way up to 26, right? Yeah, 26.
Or 20. Or to the Ravens. Yeah.
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 I
don't know. The defense allowed some long drives, which you can't have, but still the offense didn't do jack.
So the first half, I felt pretty confident. So they said some stat during the Sunday night game. I can't remember the exact numbers, but the Steelers in the second quarter, they outscore opponents let's just say 40-10. It's something ridiculous because we'll just put up all these points in the second quarter, but we get outscored every first quarter, if that makes sense. So we always have to come back from a lead or come back from behind, excuse me. And I don't know. I hope it's not a long season. I'd be very disappointed if so. It's probably going to be Bell's last season. I know that sounds a little ridiculous to even say that because it's probably going to once again. But if we didn't get these, the 3 players together and have one, last playoff push, it's going to feel like such a waste.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the end of that.
So what I was trying to say is, we have Ben, Bell, and Brown.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they're on the field, we could beat anyone almost. And I feel like if we have a losing season and don't make the playoffs, and then Bell goes to another team, this season was such a waste because of all the talent we have on offense.
It
would
be a waste.
And then it's just
at least for Ben, definitely too. Yeah.
right, yeah. I think I'm pretty sure on Twitter I keep seeing the NFL posted the top 5 passers, not of all time, but yards wise, Ben's still number 1, which I thought was pretty cool.
In the league this year?
Yeah, he has the most passing yards.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Somehow Mahomes is not on the top 5.
He just throws touchdowns, I guess. I don't know.
I don't understand how because they barely get in the red zone because they just throw these deep ball and touchdown. I don't get it. Yeah.
So that clearly doesn't equate to winning. So most yards,
Right. Yeah. As a Steeler fan, I've watched Ben over the years. You always want him to get more recognition, and then the year he does, he's doing very well. It's it doesn't even matter.
We have to have some kind of run game. We had 13 yards. I think that's the lowest in franchise history, maybe, or something.
I remember versus Kansas City, versus Kansas City, we had the same amount of rushing yards the whole game. Ben threw it 60 plus times, and Connor only had let's say 5 or 6 rushing attempts.
Yeah, he didn't have very many this last week either. I know.
I got you. So do you feel like it should be an easy win for the Mountaineers this week?
Oh my God, yeah, I would think so. I would certainly hope so. They start out slow sometimes, but they started out fast last week and then didn't do anything in the second half. So.
Right, I got you. I was talking to Alex just a second ago, and I feel like this year's team I am not saying they're the best in the Big 12 or even like the top 4 in the country, but I feel like this year's team, at least when there is a team in front of them they should beat, it feels like they just take care of it. But I mean, I know in the second half versus Texas Tech we didn't really do a lot, but I don't know, it just feels different this year, but I could be wrong.
You mean it feels different that we should win every game? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, so a lot of times in past we would play down to competition, but I
Yeah.
feel like this team comes in, knows they're better than some teams, or doesn't underestimate their opponent, and then just takes care of business. Besides the second half versus Texas Tech.
I mean, we should. There's no reason we shouldn't be undefeated going into Oklahoma last
Mhm.
week of the year. I mean, Texas. Everybody's hyped about Texas, but they beat Kansas State by 2 points, I think, last week. We beat the crap out of Kansas State. I don't know. I can't tell. I can't get my finger on the Big 12 though. I don't know who's good and who's not.
So 2 weeks ago, I think it was, Oklahoma was like took Army to overtime, or Army took them to overtime.
Yeah.
How did they play last week? Did
They played Baylor. They beat them pretty bad, I think.
Well, that's normal, I guess. Yeah. So we have Kansas, and then who do we play? Iowa or Baylor next? After
Yeah,
Kansas.
Iowa, and then Baylor, and then Texas or TCU, and then Oklahoma State and Oklahoma are the last two.
Did Oklahoma Oklahoma State, did they bounce back from the loss? Who they lose to? I can't remember. Texas Tech?
Yeah, they won last week after they lost to Tech. They beat Iowa State, I think.
Yeah, I think I might have brought this up last week, but I brought it up to people at work. I just hope it's not like everyone beats everyone in the Big 12. Like, I feel like, yes, that should be a popular thing that should help you if, you got in the playoffs by seeding, like if there's more than 4 teams. But, I mean, in college football, if you have one loss and you're not in the SEC, you're not going to get in the Final Four.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to Alex. I mean, the ACC is not getting in.
No, I mean, Clemson should have lost to
Yeah,
Syracuse. They
right, yeah.
easily could have. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the SEC is probably going to get 2 in again. Big
Yeah.
Ten will probably get 1, and then the last one. Pac-12, I don't think is Stanford still. No, Stanford lost.
Stanford lost. I think Washington's still in the top 10.
Yeah, but they still have a loss. I mean, it's a good loss to Auburn, but they have a loss.
I guess so, yeah.
So
We need Notre Dame to lose because they look pretty good. I know
Yeah.
if you don't, not the year like 2009 or whatever year they got crushed by Alabama. I'm not saying they're even that good or how good they were that year. They look decent. They're beating teams by a lot of points. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think they have a pretty good. They're actually playing good competition and winning pretty good. So
right?
I
Yeah,
think-
I'm pretty sure they beat Stanford pretty well, and then they killed Michigan. Not killed, but beat them by like 15 plus points.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they did go undefeated, they would have a good argument of deserving a spot in
Right. Yeah. But
for once.
Right, yeah. I'm excited to see if Oklahoma slips up. They might, but also we might also, but I don't know.
I would like to see us both undefeated at the end of the year
Mhm.
to play for all the
Right.
marbles. Yeah, and I think that would. I mean, they'd meet 2 weeks in a row, obviously, but then the winner of the second one would be the one in the playoff. But
Right.
that's what I'd like to see.
I was trying to think of a scenario of somehow the Big 12 could get 2 people in, but there's no way.
Oh no, there's no way that happens.
I'm pretty sure Alabama and Georgia aren't in the same same division, correct? Or are they?
No, yeah, because they can play
In the Big 12
in
championship.
the big SEC championship.
Excuse me, SEC championship.
Yeah, but Auburn went last year because Auburn beat them, Alabama. So that's why it was Auburn and Georgia in the SEC last year
I got you.
in the title game. Yeah.
I feel like we need, well, I mean, based off that scenario, which is most likely going to happen, we need one of those teams to go undefeated. Well, it doesn't even matter. Never mind. That's the pointless scenario because whoever loses the SEC championship doesn't necessarily not make the college playoff.
Right.
I was surprised, real quick, that Ohio State came back. They didn't look very. Did you watch that game versus Penn State?
Yeah, I did watch it. I was surprised as well.
They didn't look in rhythm. They didn't look as dominant, which is probably fair to Penn State because they're probably a much better team than who they played already to that point. But I thought at Penn State, I'm like, oh, they're not coming back. It's no big deal. And then they came back and won, which was, I guess, surprising in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'll probably win the Big Ten,
I got you.
most likely.
But thanks for calling in, and probably around the same time next week.
All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.
So now we'll call Giles, see what he's up to.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. You won again last week.
Yeah, I'm still the only undefeated team left.
Did you play one of the Irvin teams? I think you did. I think you played Chase actually last week.
Yeah,
Was it?
And
His team
it
didn't
was.
play very well.
His team didn't play at all. His team was just. My team performed. This is the best I've had this week.
No, I got you. I think it's going to be big for you getting Christian McCaffrey back, even though obviously you had him for the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. But
Yeah,
I think that's a
and
big ad or a big.
Alvin,
You know what I'm trying
Alvin
to say.
Kamara did. Alvin Kamara did fantastic against the Giants.
Right. I was driving home from Michigan, and they were kind of complaining about the Saints' play calling because they were doing weird things like fantasy wise. They kept putting in like their third string quarterback, and he's like very athletic, and they kept running like a wildcat type thing. So like, but they were taking away from attempts from Drew Brees. But they were talking about how like this week Mark Ingram could still get a lot of touches and still do well, even though Alvin Kamara like touchdowns wise he's done good, but like rushing yards I don't think he's had over 100 or something weird.
Well, the reason they did that they took snaps away from Breeze. I believe he's going to try to break the record Monday night.
That's what I was thinking. I thought about that
Yeah.
after hearing it after the game. I was like, oh, yeah, they're trying to beat it at home in New Orleans.
Because you're not probably watching a 4 o'clock game. Most everyone's going to watch
Right, yeah.
home game, Monday Night Football, prime time. Absolutely.
No, yeah, that did make sense to me. How injured is Leonard Fournette? Is he expected to come back in like 2 weeks, a week?
Well, he re-injured the same hamstring that he did against New York. He's out for this week. I guess they're just going to play it by week.
No, I got you. I mean, if you got him back anywhere towards the end of the season, I mean, that would be big. That'd be a huge thing for you because your running backs are just like stacked.
Yeah. But as long as McCaffrey and Kamara are still healthy, Fournette could just sit there on the bench.
No, I got you. I thought that was a bit. I wanted so I didn't have any. My running backs have just if Mixon is hurt, or he was supposedly coming back from injury this week. If he does, he does, and if he doesn't, I'll have to put someone else in. But I think you had a big pickup with Tyler Boyd. I think that's really good. He's gonna like maybe become the number 2 receiver there.
Especially the way Tyler Eifert got injured in the Falcons game. Yeah, Tyler Boyd's been really. A lot of people think him, and I also picked up John Brown from Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah.
Most of the people are thinking right now that those two could be in line for comeback player of the year.
No, I got you. Oh, was Tyler Boyd wasn't hurt though, right?
No, but he's just not had.
No, I see what you're
He's
saying.
underperformed.
No, I got you. But why? How did Jordy Nelson go off last week? I think he did, didn't he?
I believe he had another touchdown. I don't know what I'm going to do with Jordy now. I don't know if I let him go or not. I mean, with my 2 pickups I had this week, I don't know. He's on the fence of being maybe let go.
And the backup running back from the Chargers, he's scoring touchdowns. So I mean, like you could put John Brown as your number 2 receiver, and then put that guy as your flex. But that's I like that with players when they're on your roster, but it's so annoying when you start them and they don't score a touchdown because they only get like 10 touches the whole game. But you're just banging on, hoping on them scoring a touchdown. Like sometimes it's very frustrating.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did catch his touchdown. He didn't run for one. He was worried. I was concerned he wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. Then when he got that touchdown, I was like, well.
But I mean, it's no
like
big. I mean, you're 4-0. It doesn't really matter.
But I'd rather have people perform than not want anyone to score.
No, I got you.
Then you sit there and you look at your bench like, man, why didn't I start this guy over this guy?
No, I got you. So you play my coworker Gabby. She's a physical therapist at work. She had some pretty. She's only like 1-3, I think. I played her 2 weeks ago and beat her. But I mean, I think Jared Goff could have a big week versus Seattle because Earl Thomas is out.
Yeah, that
And then-
Seattle defense is just.
And she has Cooper Kupp, and he might go off again because I don't know who. I mean, so I think you have a Seattle player or you have someone versus Seattle. Oh, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he could go off big time because I don't see who they have to cover these players.
There's no one left in Seattle.
Or-
That secondary just got. That's a shame from where I was 2 years ago.
Right, yeah. I thought it was, I mean, I don't really understand the situation, like the thing with Earl Thomas. Like, I understand he wants more money, but, like, I couldn't imagine, it just seemed really weird when he like was getting carted off and he was flipping off his bench. If that makes sense. I mean, so obviously that makes sense, but it just seemed weird. It was different.
It was. You don't see that every day. I think it's more of the. I don't know if it's to the teammates he's flipping off as to maybe Pete Carroll, but there's more to that story.
No, I agree with you. There's definitely more to it. It's just different because usually, for someone to just do that randomly, it's weird. You do that as like a reply to something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You don't just flip someone off or like, oh hey, how are you? And then just so so I was hoping there was like some video of like the sideline saying something, but they've never showed it, so I don't really know. Like you said, there's way more than what we know. What week does the Chargers have a bye?
I believe most of them are coming up within like the next few weeks. Most of them. I don't know what I'm going to do Phillip Rivers wise. I'll have to. When I get to that road, I guess I'll see what's available.
No, I got you.
But you gotta. I'm going to stick with him as long as I can.
No, that makes sense. I want to pick up a back. So I feel like I should have. So I drafted only one quarterback. I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy Garoppolo, and then I started him like week 1, and he did okay, but I eventually picked up Andy Dalton like week 2, and didn't start Dalton again. He went off, and like the past few weeks he's had over 20 points, which compared to this year's fantasy football quarterbacks, 20 points isn't that greatest, but he's been like averaging that for me. So I mean he's panning. It's working out.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted Tyler Boyd so I could stack someone. So you know what I mean. I could get 11 points.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, because besides that one game AJ Green had earlier this year, AJ Green's not performed to his potential.
Right. And AJ Green's like I feel like a lot you'll hear around the league like a lot of reporters that are ex-players give him a lot of props, but sometimes his numbers are just not there all the time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Sometimes when he would play against the Steelers of the past like few years, like they haven't been the most dominant like DB wise, and he hasn't done a lot every game. Which I mean he doesn't have to perform every game, but I feel like he should based off his talent. If that makes sense.
Well, the way the secondary Pittsburgh has this year, he should have a couple good games.
No, I agree with you. How did you get? Was the Packer game on? I was driving home.
I had listened to it on the radio, and that defense. I know it's Buffalo, but still, you shut out an opponent. That's impressive.
No, that is pretty good. Yeah, I have the Pack. I think I dropped them for Tennessee because the Tennessee's playing Buffalo, so I wanted that matchup. I have the Bears defense, which is averaging like 12 plus points a game, which is good, obviously, but they're on a bye this week, so I just wanted to.
And the way Chicago played with Tampa Bay against Tampa Bay last week,
Mm-hmm.
they beat them so bad that they just said goodbye to Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston's starter from there on now.
No, I got you. I wouldn't be. It's going to be so pointless because, like, what's the point? But I wouldn't doubt it if Tampa Bay goes back to Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I can't see a scenario why you would do that, if that makes sense. If it was a video game, I could see that or something, but, like, it doesn't make any, like, the team, so the people on the team wanted to win this year, but you putting Ryan Fitzpatrick back in, it doesn't give that message that you're trying to win this year, if that makes sense. Even, I don't know. I think you understand what I'm saying.
You're paying Winston first-round money, though. That's the thing.
Right,
That's like with Lamar. That's like with Baltimore with like Lamar Jackson. You're paying him first-round money, but they're finding ways to use them. Why keep them on the? Why keep those guys on the bench?
No, I guess what you're saying. I think with the Lamar Jackson situation, it's a tad different, but I would like to see Lamar Jackson maybe get a shot as a starter one day. Obviously, well, I think he will, but it just depends.
Depends on where Baltimore is towards the end of the year. If they've won the division already and they've already clinched the first round bye, then I could see Lamar Jackson playing a couple games. If they're well out of it by then, I could see him playing the remaining games of the season.
No, I got you. So I was talking to Alex. I called him 2 people before you, and I'm really hoping somehow the Steelers can go like 2-1. Or actually, we could only this week 5. Week 7. So we have 2 more games. Well, 3 games if you count this week until our bye, week 7. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping somehow we can go like 2-1 or undefeated before our bye, so we can try to stay afloat. But I don't think the team's very good this year.
this game between them and Atlanta, it's going to hurt either team, whoever loses.
Right, because I mean, I think the NFC South, I think it's overrated because I don't think the Saints are that good, and I think Carolina's probably should be the best team, but like the teams aren't playing consistently because I think no, I went into overtime again. Didn't the Browns tie the Saints?
Browns went to, I believe they might have went to, either no, they lost in regulation.
Oh, okay.
Cleveland should have beaten them. We'll put it this way: Cleveland should be 4-0 right now.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think. So okay, yeah. So they tied us. They lost the next week. No.
And then they beat the Jets, and then they should have held on to beat Oakland.
Oh yeah, they should have. That's weird. I'm kind of.
So if you look at it, the team should be 4-0.
No, I got you. I don't know. I don't trust them yet. If that makes sense. That they're and so like last year we played Cleveland week 1 and they had Deshaun Kaiser, and they looked competitive, but we might have just been on the decline and we just didn't know it at the time. And I was like, oh, they could be pretty good this year, and obviously they didn't win a game. And then this year they obviously tied us week 1, and then to your point, they have played very competitive versus each team they played. So I don't know. I don't really care if they're good. I just hope they're just done better than us. Us meaning the Steelers.
Because I look at the NFL, I look at it right now is the Rams at number 1, and then there's just everyone else.
Right. Yeah. I want to be on the Jacksonville bandwagon a little bit, not because they beat us. I like cocky teams. I like confident teams. I like the swag teams. You know what I mean? Tell people how good you are and then go do it. But I don't know who Blake Bortles is. Like 1 week he throws for 300 yards and he's done it like twice already. But then the next week he can barely throw over like 150 yards, and it's like what?
I mean everyone's just wanting to give up on him.
Right. Yeah.
I mean I think eventually they're going to end up drafting the quarterback.
Right. I always kind of liked a little bit the rumor that the Jags should trade for Eli. I always thought that could be interesting, but I haven't watched any Giants games this year, and supposedly I feel like it's the offensive line, but I could be wrong because I think Eli's level of play has went way down also.
Well, there was those talks last year them going after.
Yeah, because isn't like Tom Coughlin is like the president of Jacksonville?
President, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think he's like above a GM, but he's not like obviously the owner. Who do the Packers play this week?
They played Detroit. Big divisional game.
That should be pretty big. They tied Minnesota, so did they have the same record as Minnesota?
Minnesota, I believe, is 1-2-1.
That's
They've fallen apart ever since that Buffalo game.
No, I got you. But the Packers haven't won recently, correct? No. My fault. I apologize. They shut out the Bills last week.
And then Detroit lost to Dallas last week on a field goal.
No, I got you. All right. Well, it was good calling in, and thanks for picking up, and thanks for your input on things. And same time next week.
All right, we'll see you then.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, not much, man.
So you play Mike this week. He scored 150 points on me last week.
Yeah.
And I think that, so a lot of your receiver, so you picked up, let me find him real quick. I always forget his name. Chris Thompson. I was an idiot and dropped him. So last week, my 4 o'clock running back did not, he was like a healthy scratch, or no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But they said he was not healthy enough to play. And I just picked up something, and I just dropped him because I was like, well, maybe because like Thompson's not necessarily a starting running back, even though he gets a lot of carries, and not carries, but a lot of passing yards. And I was like, okay, I'll just drop him. Maybe no one will know he's dropped or something. And then he's projected to have the highest score of the running backs that were available, and I was like, son of a.
Yeah. Hey, I went ahead and picked him up there. Had to snag it. Anybody you see on the wire, you got to go after.
No. I understand. That makes sense.
Well, go ahead.
No problem. Did you win last week?
I think I did. Let me see.
Yeah, it says 1 game win streak.
Yeah, I'm 2-2. I know that. I didn't score a lot of points last week, though. So it is what it is. But
Right.
unfortunately, I think I fell back to like 3rd in the league in terms of points. Let me go to the scoreboard here and see exactly what I ended up with. It wasn't great. It was only 4. Yeah, I only scored 89.9 points. So,
Right.
but it was enough to beat Alex because
I
the
got you.
defense is not very good.
What was I
So-
say? How do you feel about Mahomes versus the Jaguars?
Oh, I think it'd be his biggest test yet. No
Right.
one's been able to stop him yet. So I don't know how the Jags would do it. I think the game being in Kansas City's big.
Right.
So, if it was in Jacksonville, that might be a different story. But I think we're gonna be okay here. At least I'm gonna be okay with starting them. I'm not planning on pulling them.
No, I didn't say that. I think that necessarily. I just so the first 3 weeks he played like out of his mind. You know what I mean? Played very. No, I guess that's his talent. So he's played very, very well. And then last week versus Denver, I don't think he had a turnover. Did he have a turnover?
No, he didn't have any turnovers.
But he didn't like light up the scoreboard as usual. So I feel like maybe he could. I don't
He
want.
still got 304 yards.
Right, which is ridiculous, but or very, very good. But I think it's gonna be. Hopefully, the game is on. But I think the Steelers play at 1 too, so we might not get to watch it unless it's on Fox. But I think it should be a very interesting game to watch if we're able to.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and watch as much as I can of it, anyways. But
No, I got you.
yeah, Steelers. It's hard to tell what to make of them. But anyways, back on the fantasy deal. We'll see what happens. I'm wondering about the Browns. They kind of really underperformed for me. I think they were negative.
Yeah, they got you like -9.
Yeah, so
It's
I
something crazy.
I don't know. There were some calls in that game that didn't go their way.
No, I got
They
you.
had a couple turnovers that could have occurred, but then they got called back. So
No, that makes
really, it
sense.
seems like the scoring in our league rewards, turnovers. of
Right,
course.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that they'll be able to rebound here against Baltimore, but you never know.
No, I got you.
I may have to move on next week.
We'll see. His matchup with Calvin Ridley versus the Steelers, I feel like could be a bad thing. Not
Yeah.
that I think Julio will finally score this week versus the Steelers, but I could be wrong because he hasn't scored the first 4 weeks.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game in general. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the game goes up into the high 40s, in terms of points
Mm-hmm.
for each team, which I'm a little surprised that the over and under, I think, is set like 58. So I would think that it's going to be way over 58, but maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I just think there's going to be a lot of offense.
No, I agree. I think that's very low. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
me. I don't know. But I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it was.
no, I got you. Did you watch the majority of the game Sunday night
Sunday night.
versus?
I watched. Yeah, I did watch most of it. In the second half, things got a little spotty there, but I watched all the first and most of it. So
I don't know why this hasn't been more of like a thing people talk about. Maybe I just haven't seen it when it was on TV. The Tampa Bay game, we scored 0 points in the second half. The Baltimore game, we scored 0 points in the second half.
yeah, I wasn't quite sure what went on with the Baltimore game and why things kind of stagnated like they did. Well, they got off to a bad start. They went down 14-0,
Mm-hmm.
and then you rally back, and everyone's excited.
Right.
And I just really don't know why they struggle so much. And Ben played terrible, and he's going to do that occasionally.
Right.
That's just the way he is. Plus, he's older now, so it's going to happen more frequently. But I don't understand how he and AB are so. They're not even on the same page.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I think. Me and you have talked about a little bit about that. I don't get it because, like, in past years, obviously they've been like. I'm trying to
It's been
think.
great.
They've been like one of the. I know, and now it's like I don't really. I just don't understand like how you could be this far off. Because I thought maybe the first game when it was rainy and then Ben got hurt, I was like, okay, maybe this says something. Maybe he was hurt, or maybe it was a big thing about the weather. Because a lot of the passes in the Browns game were like behind him and like hitting the defenders in the back of the head. It was like really
Yeah.
weird.
Maybe the weather played a factor there. Plus, he got hurt whenever.
Right.
What's their DN's name? Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
I think that is right. He rammed his arm pretty good. But it's going on here several games now. He's just not making the deep throws to AB that he was last year or the year before. I mean, last year I can recall 3 or 4 games where they went on the last minute drive to get in the field goal range, and
Right. And
more
they
often than not he was connecting with AB.
right, and half the time these weren't like, layup passes. These are like the game versus Green
No,
Bay,
yeah.
it was a ridiculous pass. So you threw the ball like I don't want to say out of bounds, but he threw it to where he would have to lean over the
He threw it to
sideline
the
to catch
boundary,
it.
to where only AB could get it. It was
Correct,
great
yeah.
throw. and AB made a playoff. But,
And
you know,
that's not happening this year. I don't.
yeah. So there's something's off there. You know, if it's a personal thing or, you know.
I'd much rather it be a physical thing, because if it's a personal thing, I don't. This team the past 2 years have been a lot of.
I think, you know, I hate to say it, but I think we need to start talking about maybe this is the beginning of the end of the Killer B or No Ring era. You know, I think it's all folding up. Bell's gone. He's not coming back.
He's
They're
not.
saying week 7. Yeah, maybe he'll show up.
I saw this meme, and it was like, come back week 7, but then leave again week 8. I was like, oh my god.
Hey, man, he may pull a Kawhi. You never know. He might come back and
God.
say, "Oh, I'm hurt. I can't play."
Oh
You know,
man.
just not play. You know.
I'm
I don't know
so.
at this point.
So last year he came back. He didn't do any of the preseason. And he came back after the last preseason game. And the first few games he was pretty rusty. Like he wasn't in rhythm with the team. But I'm hoping something is. So the next 3 games. So the week 5, week 6, and week 7. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I hope we can at least go like 2-1, and then go into the bye week, and then he comes back, and then somehow it's just like the floodgates open and we look normal again. Like I
Pretty
feel.
optimistic. I don't know, man.
I get. See, the only reason I feel like it's possible is because teams in the past, like Ben has played well, and AB has played well, but yet Bell was there also, and like I'm like optimistic, like, oh, we can get together. We have very good talent wise, and like we can figure this out. But it seems like we keep making the same mistakes the past few weeks, and it's frustrating and disappointing.
Well, it's very frustrating, and you know, it starts from the top down. You know, I mean, and I hate to, you know, bitch about Tomlin, but you know, look, and I get that if he was fired, and I'm not suggesting firing him, but if he was fired, you know, almost every team in the league would be happy to have him.
Correct. No, I understand.
He's a good coach, but there's something wrong. You know, he's too much of a player's coach right now with these guys. They've taken advantage of it. At least that's what it looks like from the outside.
No, that makes sense. There was some stat like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was even saying this about Belichick, but a lot of times his teams have changed a lot over the years. It's like after like, I don't know, it's like a certain amount of years players like stop. It's like not necessarily every player, but a majority of like personalities, they stop listening to the same words over and over and over and over again. Like they're like, well, you already said this. Why isn't it working now?
Where you're welcome now.
Right. But I just hope it's wrong. Offensively, we have too much talent. I think once in a while we can get away with it defensively and play decent, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, really, the defense has been a disappointment aside from, you know, T.J. Watt's Herculean effort there in week 1.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot that has impressed me. I mean, Cam Hayward's invisible. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but like I say, Ben, I think that this could be, and you know, I'm not saying it's definitely, but you know, we might be in the early stages here at the end of the era that we've been in here for the last, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 years here. You know, basically ever since that Packers Super Bowl after we went there. And
yeah, that was
this era.
right.
This era sort of started, and you know, they just underperformed all the way through it.
Right.
There's no other way to say it. Now, I understand the Patriots are out there. Tom Brady's still, you know, he's on the tail end of his prime, obviously.
Right.
But, you know, he's still in the window of potential to win, you know, Super Bowl. So, I mean, they've been good. But, you know, to not even get there again, you know, I mean, it's with the talent you have, it makes no sense. So,
Right, yeah. So obviously we lost. So like our playoff losses, besides like the Broncos game a few years ago when
that was
Fitzgerald
awful.
fumbled.
Tim Tebow? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, not that one also. I forgot about that one, unfortunately. But I'm talking
Yeah,
when
that
they
was
had.
before
This
that, I
was
think.
after Tim Tebow and they had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
This was after like this huge big between us and Baltimore. Excuse me, between us and the Bengals, and we
Yeah,
just like
I remember
beat the
that.
shit out of each other. And then like we went in and we were kind of close with them, which was weird and which was nice. The year we played the Patriots in the AFC Championship wasn't close. Last year's playoff game, even though the score says it was only 3 points, that was not remotely close at all.
It wasn't close either.
And so it's not like we went and performed into the playoffs and like lost by like a last ditch drive by someone else or something, or was coming back and then threw a pick. It's like half the games that we've been in the playoffs, we just get blown out. That we lose, you know what I mean?
Well, it's just not excusable. I mean,
Right.
there has to be someone's got to put a little heat on Tomlin here. And I'm not saying we got to get rid of him, but we got to look at our GM, what's going on there. You know, Coburn. You know,
Right.
There's got to be. I mean, he's missed on a lot of defensive guys apparently because we still don't have a replacement for Shazier. There was no heir apparent, and I get that he was young, but I mean, you missed on Jarvis Jones.
Oh, I
Bud
hated
Dupree,
that.
hit or miss. I mean, you gotta hit on somebody eventually, and now we've wasted, you know, top round, if you want to call, you know, third and fourth round picks, or you know.
No, I
fifth
understand what
round
you're
picks,
saying,
highest
yeah.
round. You know, we wasted one on Dobbs. We got him now as a backup. We put another one in on Rudolph. Why do we have them both? We don't need them both. You know,
Right.
it's
And-
just makes no sense. Why is Keith Butler around?
That's very confusing to me because the point you brought up a few weeks ago when you read that, you know, Tomlin caused like 50% or either a
He calls
majority.
sizable portion. Yeah,
Right,
a
yeah.
lot
And
of
it's
people.
like, why is Keith But like, because I don't feel like we have the talent to, we don't have a pass rusher, like a dominant pass rusher. I mean, TJ, he puts a lot of effort into it. It's only his second year. Maybe things will turn around this next
He's
few
not.
games.
He's not the guy, man.
Right.
He's good. He's
Right.
a nice piece, but he's not the guy.
Bud's definitely not the guy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's just,
It's an average linebacking core.
right.
And the way that they are set up to play defensively, you need to have superior guys there. You know,
Right.
I'm not. They weren't great whenever they had Shazier, but at least he could communicate the play in. And
Right.
He was, you know, a top. I would say top end, top quarter. You know,
He could make the
linebacker,
checks
but
and or
Yeah.
keep them in whatever
Well-
and tell people what to do and
he could have gone to other teams and played. You know.
right. Oh, okay. I
Right,
see.
right.
Okay, I see your point.
You know
My
what I'm
fault.
saying?
Yeah, I see what you're
he's
saying.
a starter on almost any team in the league.
Right, and a
I'm
lot
not
of
sure
our.
that are other.
I feel so. To your point, Cam is probably having a rough year, but I feel like Cam and Stephon Tuitt, could go and probably start most places, but they're not doing like in the
Well,
preseason.
they could, but they're just invisible. I
Right.
mean, I get that that's the nature of
The 3-4.
the scheme. Yeah,
but-
that's the scheme how it's supposed to work. But it's even when you don't have any linebackers to make the tackles, it just looks, I don't know,
Right.
it just looks weird. It's not right. There's something I don't even notice him there.
No, I got you.
Whereas before I could see him taking up blocks. But
That makes sense. But thanks for calling in. It was good talking to you, and thanks for your opinions on stuff. It's really appreciated.
all right, Ben, we'll see you. Let's go Mountaineers.
Let's go Mountaineers. All right, bye.
Bye.
But I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this week's podcast number 8 of Benjamin's Dream and the Dreamers. Like our Facebook page, Benjamin's Dream. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at My Dream Jersey. We have a YouTube page, Benjamin's Dream. And I also have a website, mydreamjersey.com. Go to the top picks tab, and that'll show you a bunch of major retailers that sell jerseys and sports memorabilia and sports collectibles. And you go and see who's having the best sales that week or that month, or of your favorite team, and you find the best bargain price for that item. We have a merchandise page also. So go mydreamjersey.com, and then go to the merchandise tab, and we have a bunch of T-shirts, hoodies, women's T-shirts, women's polos. We have a new iPhone X case. There's a lot of other phone cases, a lot of other accessories. So download us on Podbean, Apple Podcast, and Google Play and Stitcher, and subscribe to our YouTube page again. And tell a friend, tell a sports fan to tell a sports fan. And we'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you. Goodbye.